Check, check, microphone check.
Can everyone please find a seat? Okay, I welcome everybody to the Southern Illinois University Board of Trustees Committee meetings. But before, I want to welcome Trustee Barnett to the board. Yeah, I did it yesterday, but would like to make an introduction again today. It is my privilege to introduce the newest member of the SIU Board of Trustees, Dr. Deborah Barnett. She is a proud alumni and a first-generation college student. Dr. Barnett holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and is a two-time graduate of Southern Illinois University with both a master's and a doctorate in workforce education and development. Most recently, she completed the Delta Regional Authority's Executive Leadership Program at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Dr. Barnett currently serves as Executive Director of SI Now, which is a 17-county regional economic development initiative dedicated to strengthening business growth, workforce development, and investment in Southern Illinois. She brings with her a wealth of experience as an educator, administrator, entrepreneur, and community leader, having served in a variety of roles at SIU and across the region. So we are delighted to welcome Dr. Barnett to the board and look forward to your insight, dedication, and passion for the SIU and the SIU system. So welcome. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abizana,
Present.
Barnett,
Present.
Connolly,
Present.
Curtis,
Present.
Gilbert,
Present.
Hightower,
Present.
Salger,
Present.
Simmons,
Present.
Williams.
Present.
Quorum has been established. I hereby make the following appointments in light of Dr. Barnett being a now member of the Board of Trustees. I appoint Trustee Barnett as a member of the following two committees: the Finance Committee and the Architectural and Design Committee. Additionally, I appoint Trustee Barnett as the board representative to the Board of Directors of the Alumni Association, former students, and Friends of Southern Illinois University. Friends of Southern Illinois University Incorporated, and I will remain as the alternate. We will now proceed with the committee meetings. The first committee meeting is the Executive Committee. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the meeting held on September 12th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? And again, it's just Trustee Salger and Trustee Simmons and myself.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Gilbert,
Yes,
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
the minutes have been approved. The next item is the schedule of meetings of the Board of Trustees for 2026, which is Board Agenda Item J. Is there any discussion regarding the schedule of meetings for next year? If not, is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Gilbert,
Yes,
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
motion is passed. This item has been approved by the Executive Committee. The last item is the proposed Board of Trustee Emeritus Status Bylaw, which is in addition to Article 9 of the Board Bylaws, Board Agenda K. This item recommends the adoption of a Trustee Emeritus policy establishing in a formal way for the board to honor former trustees who have provided exemplary service and lasting contributions to Southern Illinois University. As part of this action, it is also recommended that former trustee Roger Tedrick be named the inaugural Trustee Emeritus in recognition of his years of dedicated service, leadership as chair of this board, and the extraordinary commitment to advancing the mission of SIU. Is there any discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Second, John.
Yeah, second. Please call the roll.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons.
I just like the awkward pause for Roger. It's Roger's,
I'm
even
gonna-
though he's not here to appreciate it. Yes.
Yes. We know that feeling.
This item has been approved by executive committee. If there's no further business before the executive committee, this meeting is adjourned. The next committee meeting is the Academic Matters Committee meeting. Dr. Hightower, will you please proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The meeting of the Academic Matters Committee is now in session. Dr. Gupchuk, are there any announcements?
Thank you, Dr. Hightower. In the interest of time, I have no announcements.
Excellent. First item of business is the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held
So-
July 10th, 2025?
So moved.
Seconded.
We have a motion and second. Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call.
Hightower,
Yes.
Arizona,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, moving forward, Dr. Gupchuk, we're going to just ask you in the interest of time to take 3, 4, 5, and 6, if you will.
Thank you, Dr. Hightower. For the Inventor of the Year Award presentation, I would like to invite Rob Patino to please present the award.
Thank you. The SIU System Inventor of the Year Award recognizes an exemplary faculty member of the SIU system that has demonstrated his or her ability to innovate at the highest level and contribute to the betterment of society and the world by taking meaningful steps in advancing their scientific achievement to becoming useful inventions by society and the public at large. To be a competitive candidate for the Inventor of the Year Award, the selected faculty member must demonstrate his or her prowess with innovation through invention disclosures, working with the Office of Technology Management Industry Relations to prosecute patents to issuance, and to have shown levels of success in commercializing their discoveries through licensure over the past 5 fiscal years. The 2025 Inventor of the Year Award goes to Dr. Ken Anderson from our SIU Carbondale campus. Dr. Anderson received his PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Melbourne, Australia. Dr. Anderson is a professor of geology and is the director of SIU's Advanced Energy Institute. Dr. Anderson was elected as a fellow of the National Academy of Inventors in 2024, and he is an entrepreneur founding Thermoquatica, which is taking the commercialization lead on his oxidative hydrothermal dissolution technology, which has resulted in at least 2 U.S. patents. He's had over 20 issued international patents, and he's now starting a new portfolio of patented technology. Let me just tell you, to go off script for a couple of seconds, this award was developed and inspired by Dr. Anderson and folks like himself. He knows how much work it takes into prosecuting and getting these patents to issuance throughout not only the U.S., but throughout the world. Dr. Anderson, please step forward and accept this award.
Moving on to the next set of awards, the Faculty Collaboration Award. I would like to introduce Dr. Y. Chia, President of the SIUE Faculty Senate, and Dr. Khalid Mexam, President of the SIUC Faculty Senate, to kindly introduce and present the SIU System Faculty Collaboration Awards.
Good morning. The Faculty Advisory Committee for the SIU system serves as a collaborative channel between the faculty at SIUC, SIUE, the SIU School of Dental Medicine, and the SIU School of Medicine. The committee is made up of constituency heads and their representatives from all campuses and the immediate past presidents or chairs of those constituencies. The role of the Faculty Advisory Committee for the SIU system is to advise on and monitor elements of the SIU system strategic plan that have to do with faculty. The Faculty Advisory Committee for the SIU system is proud to present this year's SIU System Faculty Collaboration Award. This award recognizes faculty for impactful collaborative endeavors across campuses in the areas of teaching and/or scholarship and creative activities, and/or service, and/or anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. This award has been created to foster continued collaborations among faculty members across SIU system campuses in support of the SIU system vision and mission.
So we had 6 outstanding and varied applications for this year's award, ranging from collaborations in nursing to art creativity. And it was not an easy process to pick, the awardees. So we're proud to have this awardee winner with us here today. So Dr. Sinan Onal, Chair and Professor of the Department of Industrial Engineering at SIU Edwardsville, and Dr. Kao Lu, he is from SIUC. He is an Associate Professor in the School of Electrical, Computer, and Biomedical Engineering. So their collaborative work on AI-driven gate phase detection is what was actually selected for this award. So we do have on the other side 2 other winners, Dr. Eric Rook, and he's director of the John Martinson Honor Program and Associate Professor of Department of History at SIUE, and Dr. Jyotsna Kapoor. She is a professor at SIU School of Media Art and recent director of the Honor Program at SIUC for their collaborative work with the Honor programs.
Dr. Zonal's and Lu's collaboration focuses on research and creative activities in the area of AI-driven dynamic gate phase detection, addressing a present challenge in biomedical engineering and rehabilitative healthcare. This research aims to develop real-time intelligent system capable of monitoring and interpreting human gait through wearable sensor technologies integrated with advanced machine learning algorithm. This cross-campus effort represents a fusion of cutting-edge AI modeling, sensor integration, and user-centered design, making it a prime example of interdisciplinary research with tangible societal impact. Our other winners, Dr. Rock and Kapoor, have been developing a deep collaboration between the honors programs since 2020. This collaboration aims to build on the complementary strengths of the respective honors programs to enhance opportunities for SIU students to have a rich, robust honors experience. Efforts were designed to be scaled, starting with relatively easy methods, then moving on to more complex types of coordination.
I'm sorry the script is longer, but you realize how much work was put by those faculty to get those awards. So since fall 2020, 8 synchronous courses have been actually taught by faculty on both campuses, so taken by approximately 200 students across campuses. In addition, so they have successfully actually piloted a shared service trip for the students at both campuses and shared presentations by the students at the National Collegiate Honors Council Conference, NCHC. So the next stages of collaborations include the development and offering of a block of shared residential summer courses, and eventually partially linking the curricula of the 2 programs by developing a shared common required course for incoming students and also exit experience symposiums. So congratulations to both teams for your successful collaborations and all the best in your future. So before closing, FACSSC would like to thank President Mahoney and the Board of Trustees for their support for this award. Thank you very much.
Item number 5 on the agenda is the Program Quality Assurance Report for fiscal year 2025. The Illinois Board of Higher Education requires all approved units of instruction, public service, and research offered by public universities to be evaluated on a periodic basis. In addition to external accreditation reviews, all SIU system non-accredited programs go through program reviews every 8 years. Program review is an internal process to ensure that we provide high-quality programs and identify any corrective actions necessary. The Program Quality Assurance Report in the Board of Trustees packet that you have includes the following for your review: list of programs that are accredited by outside agencies along with their status, the results of non-accredited program reviews, and the identification of programs flagged for various issues, and the schedule of reviews for all programs, whether or not they are accredited. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll move to item 6, grant and awards contracts for fiscal year 2025. Our chief research officers on each campus will present executive summaries of research grants and contracts received in fiscal year 2025. Also, they will mention some of the notable research and creative activities across campuses. Each research officer will then present a short video to highlight research or creative activities on their campus. We will start with Dr. Chris Slayton at SIUE, followed by Dr. Kostas Satsoulis at SIUC, and then Dr. Don Torrey of the School of Medicine. Dr. Slayton?
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. As Garish said, my name is Chris Slayton. I have the pleasure of serving as the new Dean of the Graduate School and Associate Provost for Research at SIUE, and I'm honored to present to you some highlights of our research enterprise this morning. It's very fitting that we are here on the East St. Louis Center campus, given that this is such an important part of what we do at SIUE and our impact that we have on the community. I hope to highlight today how our research enterprise is engaged in our community and that we have a niche, I believe, at SIUE in community engaged scholarship. So the first thing I'd like to do, and you see this in your executive summary already, but highlight for you that in fiscal year 25, I'm proud to announce that we had $43 million in new awards in grant contracts. This is the second highest in the last decade and the highest in the last 3 years. It's also worthy to note that in the last 6 months, clearly there has been a dramatic decrease in federal funding for research and science. So to have this high of a mark in this fiscal year is really significant. I just want to highlight a couple things before we get to our video. And again, this is in the executive summary in front of you. One of these community engaged grants that I think is worthy to note is a recent PROUD grant that's funded by the state of Illinois through our Center of Predictive Analytics. This grant helps transition formerly incarcerated individuals in this state with career skills and equips them to transition back into society. And that's run by Dr. Carrie Butts-Wilsmeyer, as well as Courtney Breckenridge out of CPAN. In addition to this community engaged scholarship, we're very proud that we collaborate with both community organizations and other institutions, including our colleagues at Carbondale. One recent example of this is this summer at our Belleville campus. We had the fortunate opportunity to do this forensic science murder mystery camp. And this involved our SIUE forensic science program, as well as the Simmons Law School at SIU Carbondale, our friends at St. Louis University, as well as the Illinois Science and Math Academy, all partnering together for high school students to have an opportunity to go through the crime scene investigation process, both on the forensic science side as well as the legal side. So without further ado, hopefully I didn't take more than my 2 minutes. We have a video prepared today that highlights our Belleville campus and the community engaged scholarship happening there.
SIUE's mission and values have been historically rooted in community engagement.
SIUE's Belleville campus stands as a hub for research, instruction, and community engagement, advancing knowledge while strengthening partnerships across our region.
The Institute for Community Justice and Racial Equity was launched August 2023. The Institute works to enhance the university's efforts in promoting access and opportunities. One of the ways we do this is through our SIUE Freedom School program. Freedom School is a 6-week program that works with middle school and elementary school students. Those students take a deep dive into literature around themes that remind them that I can make a difference.
At SIUE's Freedom School, scholars of African American literature, history, and culture engage with young people across our communities. Learning daily throughout the summer with professionals in these fields connects young scholars and their families with curricula and knowledge that shapes how they view their place in educational settings. SIUE's master's program in forensic sciences is the only one of its kind in our greater Illinois region. The program is positioned to train elite future leaders in crime resolution. Its location in Belleville offers unique opportunities for our community members and students. In this environment, students experience mock trial dynamics and gain an introduction to DNA gathering and analysis processes that directly impact crime resolutions in our neighborhoods.
One of the projects has to do with a DNA collection device. It is a DNA vacuum, but cheaper than the commercial one that is currently on the market. I'm working with another graduate student on the degradation of DNA. We have an issue in forensics that we have a backlog of DNA, and as DNA remains in storage, we are finding that it begins to degrade over time. So we are looking into ways to prevent that from occurring, to give us more time to get to the DNA kits.
Having the ability to alter the rate of DNA degradation fundamentally alters our community's access to crime resolution. The impact of DNA degradation is most well known as the cause of unsolved or unresolved sexual assault cases. Now, with forensic science programming here at the Belleville location, we have the ability to change those outcomes. School shootings and safety concerns are front of mind for parents, educators, and students across our region. The Center for Crime Science and Violence Prevention has built vital relationships with police departments in multiple municipalities. Those relationships allow SIUE to play a key role in ensuring the most rapid response time possible when a school safety incident takes place.
We're working with a company called Siren GPS that provides emergency alert services to school districts. What it really does is it gives school administrators and school safety personnel a lot more time to respond rather than wait for police to tell them about the incident.
The research, instruction, and community engagement activities at SIUE's Belleville location showcases everything that is central to SIUE's mission and values. And that commitment is reflected in scholar-centered programming for rising scholars. It is evident in our cutting-edge science programming and research, and it is manifest in partnerships with local government focused on community and school safety.
Any questions? Yeah.
Just want to comment on two areas that you alluded to. One, congratulations on the number of grant dollars that you're bringing in at a time when certainly state and federal opportunities are fewer and in between. So congratulations, and we appreciate the hard, diligent work that you and others are doing. Secondly, want to compliment certainly President Mahoney, Chancellor Minor, Provost Scott, for their outstanding work in helping to bring the Belleville campus to fruition. This was a difficult task for a period of time. And to see that campus really move forward as it is right now through the advocacy of Representative Jay Hoffman and Senator Belt, along with former Representative LaToya Greenwood. Those individuals really played an absolute key role in getting the funding to get this campus up and running. And just want to just call that out, and just to see what you're doing there is incredible. If you've not had an opportunity to visit that campus, I would strongly recommend that you do so. It is very impressive. And you'll walk away just saying, wow, you know, I can't believe some of the technology, some of the research and cutting edge opportunities that they're providing us to move the SIU system forward. So again, congratulations to you on that.
Thank you for the affirmation, Dr. Hightower.
Dr. Tsatsulis?
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to report about great research that's going on in Carbondale to the board. Our staff and faculty received significant grants in fiscal year 25. The federal funders of grants were the Department of Health and Human Services, National Science Foundation, U.S. Department of Agriculture, NASA, and the U.S. Department of Education. These were the major funding agencies. On the state level, it was the Illinois Department of Economic Opportunity, the Illinois State Board of Education, the Illinois Department of Human Services, and the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. We'll have an opportunity to see a little bit more about the work that our faculty do through IDNR funding. We had a record expenditures this year of $54.1 million. These $54 million were spent on research, on facilities, on equipment, on students, on researchers, and they all stayed primarily in the Southern Illinois region. In terms of awards, our awards were down by about 17% compared to last year at $51 million. And that was primarily because the first few months of the year, there were no panels to evaluate proposals. There was no travel, and there were also no award opportunities published in federal agencies and consequently often in state agencies. We have seen a change. Our awards are coming in. I believe that this fiscal year, our numbers are going to be comparable, if not better than previous years. So I've always liked to say when we have students or in audiences like that the research at Carbondale, it goes from A to Z. We go from accounting to zoology. And it is extremely diverse. It covers medicine, it covers humanities, the arts, engineering, education. I'm going to leave somebody out and they're going to be very upset. The sciences, everybody. But today I wanted to highlight the research of a young faculty member, Dr. Guillaume Bastille-Rousseau. He's an associate professor of the School of Biological Sciences, and he's also a member of the Center for Wildlife Sustainability Research. The center has changed names a few times, but this year they're celebrating the 75th anniversary. So this is a center, a wildlife center, that has had a major impact in Illinois for 75 years. And Dr. Bastille-Rousseau insisted on coming here today, so I wanted to introduce him in person since he's here. I don't know if you've seen the video that I will provide, so he's might be as surprised as you all are, but it makes you look good, Guillaume. He got his PhD at Trent University in Canada, joined SIU Carbondale in 2020 after 6 years as a postdoctorate associate. He's a wildlife ecologist. He focuses on spatial and quantitative ecology and animal movements. Some of the questions he asked is, what drives animals to move and migrate? How does it impact biotic and abiotic environments? How do they affect the ecosystem? And I think the fundamental question he's trying to ask is, how can this information about animal movement be used for conservation and management? Now, in the last 3 years, Dr. Bastille-Rousseau has received $3 million as a principal investigator in research and $1.2 million as co-principal investigator. He has collaborated with 9 of his colleagues in Carbondale, and he has received funding from federal, state, and industry grants. He has published 33 papers since joining SIUC in 2020, and his H index is 24, which is not only good for somebody in their 5th year of their career, but in the 25th year of their career. He has currently advising 1 research scientist, 3 postdoctoral associates, and 12 graduate students. So without any further ado, let's look at the work that Dr. Bastille-Rousseau does.
Recently, SIU became an R1 institution, and so there's a lot of really amazing research going on here, and there are tons of opportunities to get involved in that research early on.
A lot of the work we're doing in the lab is like understanding how and why animals are moving, but also what are the implications of those movements on basically kind of bigger questions, bigger processes. We're doing work also with white-tailed deer and reducing wildlife like deer-vehicle collision, improving safety. We're doing work also on muskrat, gray fox. Both species are not doing well right now in Illinois, so trying to understand a bit why and if there's something we can do about that. We're doing research on bobcat. Bobcat is kind of the other ways they had been declining for a long time. Now they're kind of coming back, spreading and doing really well, like doing well down here in the Shawnee National Forest.
My research is focused on bobcats, specifically up in north central Illinois. This population of bobcats wasn't always up there. About 30 years ago, they didn't exist in that landscape, mostly due to overharvest, but also habitat loss from agriculture. Bobcat populations are doing super well in the state, and so we're working specifically with the DNR to try to understand more of their biology across the entire state, and so that we can kind of better manage them in terms of their harvest levels, in terms of what kinds of habitat they might need and their space use needs.
Over the summer, I was able to be a field technician, so we tagged and colored fawns for white-tailed deer, and that was like a really life-changing experience just to get up close and personal with animals and their conservation. That was really awesome.
One of my favorite moments was the first bobcat that we ever trapped. It was also a kind of pinch yourself moment because I had always kind of dreamed of interacting with a carnivore like this.
As a small town girl from Minnesota, I never thought I'd be in such an amazing place, a world-renowned place for wildlife research. I've really enjoyed working with Dr. Bastille-Rousseau. I think as an advisor, he really cares about his students. He is very available to his students and always has time for us, even though there's quite a few of us in the lab.
And he's very inclusive. He always is adopting people into his lab that aren't even really part of his lab.
Part of the big motivation for me to move towards academia was the opportunity to work with grad students. When I see students that came from in the lab move on to a big opportunity, I keep getting emails. Sometimes they keep emailing me about when they move to another position, and it's really good to hear about like where they are, what they're doing. Some of them are traveling the world right now, so that's a big, I think to me that's really something that makes me like really happy about the work we're doing here.
I'm not sure about the last part. Any questions?
Well, thank you for your work, and we appreciate everything that you're doing. Wonderful.
Thank you. And thank you for Guillaume.
Dr. Torrey, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Don Torrey, Associate Dean for the School of Medicine, Associate Dean for Research at the School of Medicine. My colleagues at the School of Medicine were also successful in retaining and gaining grants in fiscal year 25. It was a challenging first 6 months, at least for sure. I think our total expenditures are about $20.5 million, slight decrease from previous years. Most of that decrease was due to some infrastructure grants, one-time grants that were spent in the previous 2 fiscal years. The number that we have for fiscal year 25 is on par with most of our other previous fiscal years. Number of active projects remained steady. Number of submissions decreased slightly, as Dr. Sartoulias mentioned. Most of that was in the last 6 months, where there was a great deal of uncertainty at NIH in terms of what grants were even eligible to be applied for. My colleagues applied for approximately $139 million worth of external funding from federal, state, as well as private entities. And I've highlighted on the executive summary some of our projects. We at the School of Medicine have projects related to discovery science. 2 that are highlighted, Dr. Tishkow in pharmacology, Dr. Sophia Rahn in the Simmons Cancer Institute, both looking at new molecules that can facilitate the understanding of chronic diseases like diabetes, Alzheimer's, and others, as well as the metastasis in patients. Another kind of category that we have is our service projects, and the 2 that I've highlighted there both come from our family and community medicine. Both are related to mental health, behavioral health. One, which we're really proud of, is the support team for addiction recovery treatment, our START. We have START clinics in Carbondale, Springfield, Jacksonville, Lincoln, Taylorville, and Quincy. And they take a rather unique and comprehensive approach to help patients with addiction issues regain control of their life. So we're really happy and fortunate for that. And then the other one is from our Department of Public Health, Illinois Department of Public Health, and that's to Pam Hunter Reach to oversee medical guidance, patient education, and mental health services to secondary ed high school students in Illinois. The last one is our application, the research of application for the School of Medicine. That's at the bedside with our clinical trials. And I have a number highlighted on your report. One that I wish to highlight is Dr. Krishna Rao in our Simmons Cancer Institute has initiated about 5 or 6 new clinical trials in fiscal year 25 that helps bring hope to patients in terms of new treatment modalities that they might not have otherwise. The video that I have for you highlights our clinical trials, and as you can imagine, performing a clinical trial requires a great deal of education, coordination, and then, because patients are involved, a great deal of oversight. So we have at SIU, we're fortunate to have the Center for Clinical Research, which all clinical trials run through, so that we can standardize and make sure we're handling those and executing those clinical trials in the proper sort of way. So we can go to the highlight, which shows our Center for Clinical Research.
So actually, OBGYN was one of the first adopters of the center, in fact, the very first adopter. We were approached because we had built a small clinical research infrastructure, and it was actually quite successful. So when the center started, we were sort of the natural first place to come to figure out if we could potentially expand some of the things that we could do. It came very handy because some of the holes that we had in the staffing perspective allowed us to sort of complete it, to be able to apply for certain types of grants and to do some of the clinical work we wanted to do.
For existing faculty, there are opportunities inside and outside the Clinical Research Center to actually get education on schooling on how to understand research methods better, how to design studies, how to be a better investigator, okay? And so that is a benefit to internal faculty, it's a benefit to people at the faculty level we may attempt to recruit. And even though our claim to fame is education, and it's a phenomenal teaching institution and provides exemplary clinical care, the discovery part, the research part is really complementary and is indispensable to our other missions.
I think the CCR has been invaluable to us in supporting our industry-sponsored clinical and device trials. We have a number of clinical trials going on in various areas within neurology, particularly epilepsy, movement disorders, cognitive disorders, and stroke. And the CCR has really provided the entire spectrum of support from start to close out of the study, including planning, initiation, and conducting the entire clinical trial. They also work not only with us as investigators, but also with the sponsors and the IRB, make sure that we meet all of the regulatory requirements that we need to complete the research.
So the doctors are very busy seeing patients, so our goal is to remove the operational burden for them and to hire the right staff, make sure that they are trained, and take care of everything from coordinating with the patient's schedules, with the physician's schedules, making sure everything is done per protocol. Last year, our clinical trial revenue was the highest that it has ever been. We are managing roughly 70 industry-sponsored clinical trials currently with 35 different principal investigators. On average, we enroll about 200 patients into clinical trials annually.
I can't underscore the value of the CCR enough when it comes to junior faculty trying to find their way in research. We started in the Alliance for Women in Medicine and Science a research program for junior faculty who had no skills in research and no prior experience in research. And I can't tell you how valuable the CCR staff were in patiently working with our junior faculty and really bringing them along with what it means to start with the clinical question and go through the entire process of developing a research project. And we've had some of those very junior faculty present their research at regional and national meetings and even publish in peer-reviewed journals. That would not be possible without the CCR.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentations. Are there questions or comments from our committee? If there are no questions or comments, let me again thank all of our honorees for the outstanding work that you're doing, the service that you're providing to the university, as well as thank you to the various individuals who presented an update on the grants to our three campuses. These are difficult times as far as state and federal funding. And know that we appreciate everything that you're doing. We support what you're doing. And please let us know how we can continue to support your great efforts. If there are no more questions, this will conclude the meeting of the Academic Matters Committee.
Thank you, Dr. Hightower. The next meeting is a Finance Committee meeting. Trustee Curtis, will you please proceed?
The Finance Committee meeting is now in session. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held July 10th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Minutes are approved. Committee item number 2 proposes approval of the fiscal year 2026 operating budget. President Mahoney, will you speak to this item?
Yes, yesterday we presented at the board meeting a review of the proposed budget as well as how it compares and changes from last year. We answered questions at that time, but happy to answer any additional questions, but we recommend approval.
Any discussion? Is there a motion from the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
The item is approved by committee. Committee item number 3 proposes the approval of salary and appointment of the SIU System Vice President for Financial and Administrative Affairs and Board Treasurer. President Mahoney, will you speak to this item?
Yes, so I'm recommending Mr. Justin Oates. Mr. Oates has experience at Winthrop University as their chief financial officer for about 6 years. Also was an assistant vice president at Stephen Institute of Technology. Also served on the staff both at Duke University and Duke Medicine, and worked as a consultant with Huron for a number of years. So he brings a wide range of experiences, and I think is well prepared to take on this leadership role.
Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Congratulations. Committee item number 4 is the approval of the public official bond for the board treasurer, Southern Illinois University. President Mahoney, will you speak to this item?
Yes, the Southern Illinois University Management Act requires that the board furnish a bond for the treasurer, who we've just now approved. The risk management, insurance program recommends an amount of $5 million. This will be periodically reviewed, and if there's any changes needed, we'll come back to the board at that time. But we recommend approval at $5 million.
Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item number 5 is the approval of the salary increase plan for fiscal year 26. Vice President Oates, will you speak to this item?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the appointment earlier. I look forward to being a transparent resource for the Board of Trustees and a strong financial partner to the campuses and School of Medicine. Today, you've been presented the salary increases. Yesterday, the chancellors and the dean of School of Medicine presented their budgets. Salaries are obviously the largest part of that budget. Excluding financial aid, it's 55% of your expense budget. And we're presenting 1% for the School of Medicine, or the University of Carbondale system, and the School of Medicine non-clinical and administrative employees, and then 2.5% for the civil service employees. And then also in the School of Medicine Carbondale, in the campus of Carbondale, it's important to know they had a CBIZ study that is helping kind of look at the compression across their campus and getting people up to the minimums. And so all those are included in the salary package presented today.
Are there any discussion relative to the salary increase plan? Hearing none, is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item 6 is the Resource Allocation and Management Program RAMP, Operations and Capital Requests Fiscal Year 27. This is a joint discussion with the Architect and Design Committee. Vice President Oates, will you speak to this item?
Yes, thank you again. The Resource Allocation and Management Program is something that we submit to the state on an annual basis. It's due in October, and presented before you were the operating request and the capital request. You have your general increases. The big increase this year would be utilities. As everybody knows, that's one of the biggest increases kind of in inflation area and across the nation. So that did have a 13%, and then library materials with 9%. The rest were 3% kind of increases. And then there were some kind of historical add-ons. It's important to note that these assumptions do not include any tuition increases, and it is being supported by the state appropriations. It also has the capital project list prioritization, as well as some projects on Carbondale and Edwardsville's campus.
Thank you, Justin. We're going to ask both the Architectural Design Committee and the Finance Committee to make a motion on this item. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Neither committee?
Both committees.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
I will begin with the Finance Committee. Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Architecture and Design Committee, Simmons,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes. This item is approved by both committees. Committee item 7 is the approval of the building lease for SIUE. Chancellor Minor, will you speak to this item?
Thank you. SIUE operates 6 Head Start programs in the region. This matter seeks approval for a commercial lease agreement for approximately 25,000 square feet at the Jackie Joyner Kersey Foundation Center here at East St. Louis to operate one of SIUE's Head Start and Early Head Start programs. The lease has a 10-year agreement ending on July 31st, 2025 for a total cost of $2.7 million. The resources for the lease agreement are supported by the federal grant. The university seeks approval for this item.
Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item number 8 is the approval of excess broadband capacity. Mr. Harmon, will you speak to the item?
In October 2018, the SIU Board of Trustees entered into an agreement with West Central Illinois Education Telecommunications Corp., WCIE, for the assignment and assumption of the educational broadband services license for station WLX 262 in Moline, Illinois. Under this agreement, the SIU Board of Trustees assumed all of the rights, title, and interest into the long-term de facto transfer use agreement dated August 13, 2009, between WCIE and Independent Spectrum Mobile, LLC. Pursuant to the long-term de facto transfer agreement, intangible rights to excess broadband capacity were transferred to ISM in exchange for a portion of royalty revenues. These agreements are valid until the lease expires on July 31st, 2039. WSIE does not utilize all of the bandwidth that was acquired under these agreements and is requesting approval to sublease additional excess bandwidth from station WLX 262 to ISM. The law firm Gray Miller Persh LLP has estimated the value will fall in the range of $1 to $1.5 million. This matter is recommended for adoption by the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration, SIUC.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could we have a motion to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item 9 is the approval of extension of Chancellor Lane's employment agreement. President Mahoney, will you speak to this item?
Yes, so I'm recommending the approval of extending Chancellor Lane's contract for 4 more years. Just as a reminder, according to Illinois law, 4 years is the maximum that we can have any contract for people at the Chancellor and President level. Chancellor Lane started in 2020. We previously extended it in 2022, so he is in the last year of his contract. There have been a number of successes, which I think justify the extension. We've heard about the research funding already, but also we've seen enrollment growth in 2 of the last 3 years. After years of declining enrollment, freshman growth in 5 of the last 6 years. We've seen increased involvement in the local community and schools, particularly by Chancellor Lane. He has developed a number of innovative ideas that have helped move SIU Carbondale forward, including the Saluki Step Ahead. Tremendous funding growth, best 2 years ever in the last 2 years, and I won't steal his thunder, but a really good day of giving yesterday, which was about 5 times what it was in 2020. This has led to dramatic growth in scholarships available to students, and as we discussed yesterday, he's been attacking the fiscal challenges there and reducing some of the problems left over from the budget impasse. So for all those reasons, I recommend extension.
Thank you, President Mahoney. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion by the Finance Committee to approve this item?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item 10 is the approval or extension of Chancellor Minor's employment agreement. President Mahoney, will you speak to this item?
Yes, I'm also recommending approval of extending Chancellor Minor's contract. Again, 4 years is the maximum we can do, and that's what I'm recommending. Chancellor Minor started in 2022, which means he's also in the last year of his contract. Much like Chancellor Lane, Chancellor Minor's had numerous successes. We've talked about the research funding, but the enrollment growth this year was pretty remarkable, particularly with the 5+% increase in undergraduates and double-digit increases in first-year freshmen and transfer growth. Student success with the retention rate reaching over 80% for domestic students, and closing the equity gap with retention rates for African American Black students also at 80%. Again, many times the innovative ideas have come directly from him that have led to some of these changes. We've also seen increased involvement in the local community and schools, tremendous fundraising growth there as well, and records in the one day, one SIU over the last several years. Similarly, is to tax some of the fiscal challenges, including the deficit that was in the budget, and it's been able to close that, so we do not have a long-term deficit projected in the budget anymore. So for all of these reasons, I'm recommending extending Chancellor Minor's contract.
Thank you, President Mahoney. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. Committee item 11 is the approval of the extension of President Mahoney's employment agreement. I'm going to call on Chair Gilbert. Will you speak to this item?
Thank you, Chair Curtis. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to introduce this item agenda recommending contract extension for President Mahoney. Throughout his tenure, President Mahoney has demonstrated outstanding leadership, strengthening the SIU system, fostering collaboration across campuses, and advancing strategic objectives for the SIU system. His performance reflects a steadfast commitment to institutional excellence, fiscal responsibility, and a long-term success of our students, faculty, and staff. And he navigated the SIU system through the pandemic in an amazing way. I kind of joked 4 years ago, one of his first acts, within the first week of his tenure as president, we had to shut down the university. So I keep telling him that he gets hired and then he shuts down the university. But what he did, along with Dean Cruz and the chancellors, navigating us through the pandemic was nothing short of remarkable. He is also nationally recognized as a leader in higher education. The board recognizes the values and significant progress made under his guidance, as well as stability and continuity in his leadership provides. This recommendation affirms our confidence and his continued ability to advance the mission of the university system and reflect our responsibility to ensure that SIU remains well positioned for the future. So I recommend to the Finance Committee the contract extension for President Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for the Finance Committee to approve said motion?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
This item is approved by committee. If there are no further business before the Finance Committee, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Chair Curtis. I will now proceed to turn the meeting over to Trustee Simmons for the Architectural and Design Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The meeting of the Architect and Design Committee is now in session. Welcome, Dr. Barnett, to our esteemed committee. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from July 10th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, you're up.
Simmons,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Resource Allocation and Management Program, RAMP, Operations and Capital Requests, Fiscal Year 2027. Board Agenda Item P. This item was discussed jointly this morning during the board's finance committee, and we actually voted on it. And it has already been approved and will be on the omnibus motion. The next item is an informational presentation on the award of contracts at Touch of Nature. Chancellor, could you handle this? Thank you, sir.
Shall report on award of contract for the Touch of Nature Wildlife Habitat Education Center. It's looking good.
All right.
Groundbreaking. It's going to be a spectacular building. In fact, we got one of our researchers with a profile back there. Right, he's going to work with this on. It's going to be a rock and roll place. So,
and when is that groundbreaking?
That's happened.
Oh, it has happened.
Yes.
When is the?
We're looking,
opening?
I think, about 18 months from
Okay.
now. Spectacular.
All right.
Entrance to Touch of Nature.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. There's no other business before the A&D committee. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Trustee Chair Simmons. We're now going to take a 10-minute recess before the full board meeting begins in about, let's say, 10:15.
We're cooking.
We're cooking. We are. Don't talk too soon.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't jinx us. to the Southern Illinois University Board of Trustees full board meeting. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abazana,
Present.
Barnett,
Present.
Connolly,
Present.
Curtis,
Present.
Gilbert,
Present.
Hightower,
Present.
Salger,
Present.
Simmons,
Present.
Williams.
Present.
A quorum has been established. The next item of business is approval of the minutes of the board meeting held July 9th and 10th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abazana,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Abstain on July 9th, but yes on July 10th.
got it. Hightower,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And the minutes are approved. Next is for the trustee reports. I've read trustee reports. I don't think there are any. I will report that the executive committee has not met between board meetings. At regular board meetings. Came off, back on. At regular board meetings, 30 minutes is reserved to receive comments or questions from members of the public, employees of the university. Speakers' comments or questions should not exceed 5 minutes. Persons willing to speak shall contact the executive secretary of the board. The executive secretary of the board shall maintain a roster of those seeking to speak and shall call the speakers in order. How many speakers do we have, Madam Secretary?
We have 11 speakers today.
Okay, 11 times 5 is more than 30 minutes. Now, what I will do, in order to get all 11 speakers to opportunity to speak to us, is if they can hold their comments to 3 minutes each, then that's all 11. I'll extend the 30 minutes to 33 minutes. But otherwise, if anybody, unless they can combine, if there's a lot of duplication, but 3 minutes will be a hard and fast rule in order to get everybody in. And if you exceed 3 minutes, I will ask you to stop and proceed. I realize that there may be, this is important issues to those people that will be speaking. I request that there be proper decorum and respectful of the board and your fellow employees of the university. So who is going to be the first speaker?
Terry Richardson.
Mr. Richardson, you understand that you'll have 3 minutes, okay?
Good morning. My name is Terry Richardson, and I am the current president for the Association of Civil Service Employees on the Carbondale campus. Based on our most recent survey and member information, over half of all ACSE represented members are eligible for SNAP benefits, and approximately 40% of all ACSE members require either some kind of special assistance or a second job in order to make ends meet. And while some administrators have gone on record saying that if staff are unhappy at SIU, they can leave, that to me looks like it's placing the blame on the employees rather than the employer for simply not paying enough. Since our last contract was ratified in 2022, inflation has risen 15%. And while we've been trying to make headway towards easing the financial burden on our members, we're always told there just isn't enough money. There always seems to be enough money for new administrative positions with salaries that cost what 4 or 5 of our members would cost. But nothing's ever really said about that. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the bonuses that the body has approved previously for administration. I understand that the funds are from the foundation, but that's immaterial. Frankly, money from the foundation still spends. So we see life-changing money for us being doled out to administration who already make 10 times what we do. And that's incredibly frustrating. One more thing, while this isn't directly related to ACSE employees, I have a real issue with the administration's message to the university's non-represented or range employees, civil service-wise. Recently, in a meeting I was in, we were discussing increases that you're all voting on today for the FY26, and questions were asked about the raises, like 1% if people don't get a compression adjustment, and how 1% is ineffective, frankly. The response was, and I quote, "Well, we didn't have to do any of this at all," end quote. Which the implication is clear to me that, sorry? Yes, I'm almost done. The implication being the employees should accept 1% gratefully, despite the fact that it's effectively 0% when you factor in insurance raising, the rise of insurance, taxes, et cetera. Closing, I do want to just one thing. I was on campus recently and we have the Imagine banners all over, and I saw one that said Imagine Equity. And I had to laugh kind of to myself because given how staff are treated on campus, imagining that is all we can do. Because we have no evidence that we'll ever receive this equity.
Your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Kathy Lilly.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Lilly. I am the ACE secretary and on the current bargaining team. I began my career at SIU in 1993. I retired, as have others, but I returned because I love our university and students. In my years at SIU, I moved up the ladder from entry-level support staff to accountant 1 and 2 to senior business manager. After retirement, I returned part-time. I was office manager in the Mass Communication and Media Arts Graduate Studies office. I did all things graduate studies for the Master of Science, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts, and PhD programs. I even brought my Keurig from home and provided K-cups and snacks at my own expense because I loved our students and wanted to support them and welcome them into my office. But when our college merged, that office sadly closed. I'm currently a part-time accountant in the Charlotte Thompson Suler School of Journalism and Advertising. It was an honor to be a part of last week's school naming. Our director, Jan Thompson, recognizes that it takes a team to succeed. Not only did she introduce her faculty, she also introduced her staff. Dr. Mahoney, who holds a bachelor's degree in accounting, joked with me that we accountants don't usually get acknowledged. You will hear statements today regarding our heavy workloads, low morale, and more concerns. As much as I fully agree with these concerns, I wish to speak to you about both retirees who have returned and those with several years of service. I'm the go-to person not only in our school, but in our college. Returning retirees and longtime employees are not being rewarded for our dedication and our institutional knowledge. We were told there will be no longevity increases on this contract. Our contract needs to give increases for accumulated years of service, not just continuous years of service. I am sure I have made a positive impact on my years serving SIU. Regarding contract negotiations, we delayed negotiating salaries in good faith, waiting for the CBIZ compensation study. This study was released in May, but the current offers have barely utilized this study. And regrettably, there have been errors on the administration's counterproposal spreadsheets more than once. So we weren't able to continue negotiating while at the table.
30 seconds.
Pardon?
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. These errors were brought to our attention or our team. Chancellor Lane, as I told you last week at the school naming, you gave a good talk. You do seem to know the importance of schools such as journalism and advertising succeeding. I realize you are busy and out of town, but please make time to meet with your team prior to and immediately after our bargaining sessions are scheduled. I wish to close my statement with scripture from Proverbs 31. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of those who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy.
Okay, thank you. Your time is up.
Okay. And Paula is going to hand out Ardeli Egyptian newspaper because it talks about our school naming.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Next speaker is Rhonda Radford.
Hello, my name is Rhonda Radford, and I work for SIU Carbondale campus as an accountant too. I'm here as a union representative of the Association Civil Service Employee. I'm here today to discuss the need to alleviate the financial burden that our constituents face daily. Our civil service employees are the backbone of the university. The amount of person-to-person interaction we have with students and their families is very significant. We facilitate students' procedures, processes by assisting and guiding them through official and unofficial formalities, thereby keeping schools, colleges, and the university as a whole running smoothly. At the same time, we are nonetheless not been regarded as valuable or essential in university employees. Today, I'm here to discuss why it is necessary to give ACE representative civil service employees respectable pay increases. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the cost of living has increased 23.1% since July 2019, the beginning of the current overextended ACE contract. In the past 12 months, starting August 24, prices have increased for food 3.2%, and meat of that is 5.6%, housing cost and for rent and owners by 3.6% and 4% respectively. Electric services are 6.2%, natural gas by 13.8%, and lastly, and probably the most importantly, medical care by 4.2%. While Illinois has increased minimum wage, enabling the lowest paid employees to receive pay increases, conversely created salary compression throughout the SIU civil service system. It has also reduced morale and employees' retention among the long-term employees. Our ACE full-time employees have shown remarkable dedication at the university with an average tenure of 11.9 years of service. However, each employee averages only about 5 years in each position they held. This turnover is not due to lack of commitment, but rather the result of inadequate wages, overtime in any position held. Myself, since joining the university, have held 6 positions, having chosen to leave positions that I truly enjoyed
30 seconds.
due to final constraints. Okay, let's go to the end then. We must discuss the disparity between the employees' wages and the raising cost. People continue to leave and fewer individuals are applying for testing and employment registration, resulting in SIU low wages, high workloads, and lack of annual.
Okay, your time is up.
Please take a minute and look at the average ACE employee wage. Can you live on less than $38,000 a year?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, and I will say that if someone doesn't get all of their thoughts in, they can always put them down in writing and give them to our board secretary, and she will distribute them to the rest of the board members. Next speaker.
Judy Doolin. Richard Mansfield.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. My name is Richard Mansfield. I've been working at SIU since 2019. Got hired in as a janitor, BSW. I did that for a couple of years. Moved into human resources for about 3.5 years, and got an opportunity to move to accountant, which ended up being considered a promotion, even though it was only about 6 cents an hour. So I wasn't eligible for the last 1% raise that you guys gave us. It's not the first time that's happened. Seems like every time we try to better ourselves, it knocks us out of something. I went home every day for the last 2 weeks, sat down with a notepad, trying to put some words to paper. But to be honest with you, I've kind of been at a loss for words. Some of the stuff I'm seeing. I've worked I've got 36 plus years work history. I've never worked at any place that I go into work every day and it feels like I'm walking into a funeral. Everybody that I work with, you see them in the hallways, they're hanging their heads. The morale is just at an all-time low. Then we turn around and see where you guys approve bonuses upwards of $120,000 for some people. That just makes the situation even worse. When I do get to 1%, most of the time it's barely enough to cover my increase in my health insurance. But also have to take into consideration my auto insurance, my homeowner's insurance, all that stuff, gas, everything's going up. So it's almost like taking a pay cut every year. I'm not sure what we can do about this, but we need to get together on this and get something figured out so we can start making wages comparable to what everybody else does. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Chris Ortolano. Well, how do you pronounce it then?
I'm sorry?
How do you pronounce it?
Oh, she pronounced it perfectly.
Oh, she did?
Milano. That's why I was like, normally I go in to have to make fun of my name because people can't pronounce it. Okay, my name is Chris Ortolano. I work in admissions processing decisions. I am a Navy veteran, spent 16 years in the Navy, and I'm going to take you in a little bit different direction than I think most of my associates have today, because I took my speech from writing it last night and I scrapped it last night. Based on recent events in this country, I don't know that I recognize it anymore. It's hard to see where we go from here. We can quote statistics about labor relations and the price of beef and the price of gas or whatever, but it comes down to something that I learned as a leading petty officer on a destroyer in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. When you become a leader like that, you're in charge of roughly 50 men and women in certain engineering spaces that, you don't know what's going to happen at any minute in the Persian Gulf. You have the Iranians running their little speedboats at you with guns, trained on Navy ships, thinking that they're going to do something, and you don't know how they're going to react. And you learn the value of stability in our lives. One of the reasons that I feel it's so important to talk about it right now is that this country is not stable, and that instability translates to students, to members of the board, to our administration, and to us, everybody in this room, whether they're a student or staff or whatever they do in their lives. We need stability, and right now, I don't feel stable. I have a 17-year-old son who's getting ready to graduate in a couple of years from Carbondale High School. He wants to come to SIU. I need stability to make sure that I can give him the guidance and my concentration that's necessary for him to succeed. All I would really ask of everybody here when it comes to negotiations with the union
30
and the people
seconds.
in it is be our stability. We will be there for you. I will be there. I was there 20 years ago in the Navy for everybody in the country, whether I knew them or not. Be our stability, because we need it. We provide you with stability when we are stable, and we are stronger all together, not just the union. Everybody here is stronger when we are stronger, and we are your support system.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Matt Sronkowski.
Hello, I'm not civil service at SIU, but I'm here in solidarity with the Association of Civil Service Employees. I am an academic advisor at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale campus. I've been in my position for 26 years. I am also an SIU alum. For as long as I remember, SIU has reiterated how essential academic advisors are to the mission of this institution. There have been several committees throughout the years to study the issue of advisor salaries and professional advancement. Most recently, the SIU administration has conducted its own study on advisor salary parity and concluded that academic advisors are indeed underpaid, not merely because our salaries are not in line with other similar institutions, but that SIU has fallen way behind the rate of inflation with its periodic salary increases. The findings of those recent studies, as well as the other redundant committee findings throughout the years, have all pointed in the same conclusion. Academic advisors are grossly underpaid, particularly since advisors' caseloads exceed the 300 student limit recommended by NACADA and have woefully few options for advancement. But despite these findings, time and time again, the rug has been pulled out from under us. The fiscal excuses we have been given have varied. There always seems to be more funds available for everything else, like new stadiums or welcoming centers or bonuses for chancellors. In my college alone, we are down 3 advisors. That slack must be taken up by other advisors, stretching the limits of our capacity to do our job, which is to serve students during their academic journeys. Because wage inflation, doing away with the minimum master's degree qualification, lack of pay increases, and little or no opportunities for advancement, SIU has a crisis of academic advisor retention. Frustration is very high amongst us, especially with the newer hires. People like me who have stayed on despite the lack of salary increases and advancement are a dwindling minority in the Carbondale campus. Like any vital professional position, it takes a great deal of time and training to learn the job. But these days, new academic advisors are not sticking around, especially when they can do a similar job at another institution for significantly more money. The upshot of this crisis is that it negatively affects students' retention. The reasons I have stayed on all these years
30 seconds.
That are lifelong, the reason I stayed on all these years is that I love SIU, I love serving students, I love my community. But I have needed to take on several other side hustles throughout the years to make ends meet. Now, as I look ahead toward retirement and look back on how difficult it has been for me, I worry that newer and younger advisors will have even greater challenges. I urge the board to follow through on unkept promises and pay academic advisors what they are worth. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker will be a statement from Pervez Khan, read by Kathy Lilly.
Dear Sir, Madam, I am pleased to write about Kathy Lilly, the former Graduate Studies Office Manager, who served our school and college for several years. I am Pervez Khan, a Fulbright PhD student from Pakistan. When international students arrive, the first few weeks are very disorienting. It's people like Kathy who keep you from falling apart. I arrived during the COVID-19 pandemic, and Kathy's guidance in helping me register for courses and navigate the campus kept me going. Students need to have access to such staff because there are tons of issues that cannot be handled by professors alone. Moreover, the shortage of such staff members can cause serious academic backlogs and delay what would otherwise be a smooth functioning of their academic year. When the Graduate Studies Office closed, these staff members lost the bridge between students and professors. Kathy started working for the School of Journalism and Advertising. I had issues. I had to move back and forth between professors and administrative staff. This highlights the importance of having relevant civil service staff members with relevant experience. I still keep in touch with her and say hello and seek her guidance. During an academic year, students encounter a range of issues from managing classes to organizing contracts, paperwork, and stipends. A reduction in the number of staff members can have serious consequences for students and faculty who rely much on these staff members. I think it's urgent and extremely necessary to have these staff members readily available so that students don't encounter issues that can hinder their academic year. I am grateful for Kathy's services, and even when I finish my program, I will always cherish the timely guidance and conversations with her and other staff who helped me. Regards, Pervez Khan, President of the Fulbright Student Association and PhD candidate.
Thank you.
And I have a dozen more just like this from faculty and staff and former and current students. And Paula, since we're rushed for time, if you want to take Daniel Rodriguez off, you can. He said he emailed you this morning. Okay. Oh, okay.
The next speaker?
The next speaker, we will have a statement for Teresa Henning, read by Stacia Werner.
Hello, Board of Trustees. My name is Teresa Henning, and I have been a civil service employee with SIU for approximately 6 years. I'm unable to present this statement in person due to scheduling conflicts, but look forward to addressing the board directly at the next meeting. I work as an office administrator, a support person. What does support mean? Support, from the Oxford Dictionary, originated from Latin, sub, from, below, portare, carry from below, bear all or part of the weight of, hold up something or keep it upright, material assistance. Support staff are part of the foundation upon which every organization is built, and jobs like mine and people like me have been around since university inception. I'm very proud of the support I bring to my department and the amazing people who work there. Our current and 24th chancellor, however, seems to see a different optic from where he sits. I'd like to address some rather spurious comments being attributed to the chancellor, mainly that the civil service support staff is too heavy, too lazy, and easily replaced. Every time I visit a college, all I see are people sitting around. Those extra and lazy people you see sitting around are students. Yes, they are sitting around because there's nothing else they can do. They can't do crucial functions like accounting, payroll, HR, IT, admissions, budgeting, grant paperwork, or any other internal function that requires training, background, or confidentiality. All of that falls onto the one remaining department support person that is expected to do all of those things and then some on a regular basis. Considering that SIU offers advanced degrees in accounting, IT, and business management as highly trained and specialized functions, yet many of us are expected to just weave that into our skill sets regularly, I'd argue that we are not so easily replaced. Also, I doubt the current chancellor or any other campus leader has spent that much time touring the academic buildings of this campus. Excuse me. We rarely see any of you around campus. I'm going to skip ahead a little because this is very long. The lack of sufficient support is heavily exacerbating our faculty crisis, which has gotten so severe we currently have MA programs that cannot offer the required MA classes. SIU also cut the GA budget, further exacerbating the problem and now impacting undergraduate classes, all of which are going to inevitably impact enrollment. This callous disregard for the academic
30 seconds.
And well-being of our students, particularly in graduate programs on which R1 status heavily relies, is just further evidence of the transient decision-making process at SIU. I'm going to skip ahead.
You know, may I make a suggestion, ma'am? Your time is about. Why don't you just give that to Ms. Keith and she can copy that and give them to the rest of the board?
Okay, the time is up. I was just going to read her last
Okay.
paragraph.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Christy Carlton. Christy Carlton.
Hello, and let me start my timer. Nice to see you all today. I'm here with a little bit of a different issue, an issue that's been going on for many, many years. And my request to you is, can we get this resolved finally, quickly and quietly. I completed my PhD at SIUC many years ago. I have an email from the Alumni Association saying so. They got that because I was on the list that was sent from the grad school. When I found out it wasn't on my transcript, I have an email from the assistant dean of the grad school saying, I checked with your committee and they all agree. Yes, you did complete all the requirements. We'll work on that. A month later, then he sent me a letter to my work saying that, yes, I did in fact complete all the requirements for the degree, but unfortunately some paperwork concerning the dissertation was misplaced. So it wasn't put on my transcript. Interesting. All of this is ruled by the policy, which hasn't changed. I've checked it for many years. And it basically says you need 4 signatures of your dissertation committee. Is that correct? Yes, you can all go like that because that is, in fact, the policy. It's also federal law. It says in your policy that the dissertation committee chairperson is responsible for reviewing, and they are actually the contract agent. So I have my department clearance form signed by all appropriate people. Also have my dissertation approval form with the 4 legally required signatures of my committee. Where's the problem, folks? You don't believe in the law? Anyway, we went to the Kangaroo Court of Claims. They came back and said that because I didn't do the revisions, I didn't finish the requirements. Revisions are not a requirement. Any of you who can read, and I guess you can, here's a defense version, final version, and SIU's own witness testified when asked page by page. Yes, I see that change. That is reflective of what I wanted. That, yes, I see that. 2015, President Dunn reviewed all of this. I have a transcript. But what he said and what he said to the board was, I'm convinced
30 seconds.
completed all the requirements for the degree. I recommend they confer your degree. I also have a letter here from 2017 from Mr. Phil Gilbert, where he was made aware of this travesty. So in summary, basically, when Dunn said that, yeah, I had completed all the requirements and he would recommend that it be processed, I was told, okay, we'll give you your degree, but you have to sign a release of damages. That's called extortion. In a few weeks, I am going to Washington to talk with President Trump's team as well as the Department of Education. They're a little hot about schools that receive federal funding but don't follow federal law.
Your time is
And
up.
you are in violation of federal law, student loan fraud, and many other things. 94 million you get in federal funding, that's at risk.
Ma'am, your
And
time.
all these researchers that
your time is
are
up,
receiving
ma'am.
money, yeah, I know, I can tell time. All these people that get this research money, that could go away too.
Ma'am, last
fool
warning,
stole
time is up,
my
or you'll
degree,
be asked to
and I'm
leave.
ready.
You sit down or you'll be asked to leave. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Christine Muretz. I apologize. Murrezc. Final call for Christina Muretz.
Today. Okay, our next item of business is Executive Officer's Report. Chancellor Minor, will you present your report for the Edwardsville campus?
Thank you, Chair Gilbert. I would like to begin by welcoming our newest trustees to the Vetter H. Young Higher Education Campus here. Yesterday, you had an opportunity to hear from some of our leaders of Freedom School. And it is in this very room where we had the opportunity to host one of those sites where you see 3 generations in a family, children, their parents, their grandparents, convening here to support young people with respect to literacy. Earlier in the board meeting, you approved an item for Head Start. I'd like to remind board members that this location is the site of one of the Head Start programs that is administered by SIUE. You may have heard the language clarifying the definition or difference between Head Start and early Head Start. So I like to say that SIUE is one of the few places where you could go from preschool to PhD. The idea that young people as early as one are entering this building to be supported in their learning is significant. I also want to acknowledge our SIUE Charter High School students who are here. Would you all just wave your hands? Chancellor Lane, don't look at them too hard. A few of them are seniors. I've already told them to stay away from you. But SIUE runs a charter high school out of this location, and I just want to officially welcome our scholars here to the board meeting. I'd also just remind you that the School of Nursing runs clinical operations out of this location, a free nursing clinic. Any one of our residents in this community can walk into that building and receive services, as well as the SIU School of Dental Medicine runs services out of the East St. Louis location. I don't have, I'm gonna just share a very short presentation. I wanna start with enrollment. You all have heard a lot about this yesterday in relation to the budget. There are a few highlights that I want to share, but I wanna begin by thanking the team of individuals who are responsible for the numbers on this screen. Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management, Andy Benoit, seated behind me. Wave, Andy, to the people. I want to just pause a beat here because there's so much behind the numbers on the screen. A few years ago, the provost and I met and we began bi-weekly meetings with our enrollment management team because we realized we didn't have a machine or a strategy built for this moment in time. And so in those bi-weekly meetings with the entire enrollment management team and leaders, we began to restructure, remessage, and revise our plan for enrollment management. It meant territory maps. It meant numerical goals that we had to establish for members of our team. And it meant a different energy level and effort to achieve the numbers that you see on the screen. This is pretty extraordinary in the environment right now with declining high school population and quite honestly, a message, a public message about the value of going to college. I think many of our young people are receiving messages that may suggest to them that you don't need to go to college, right? And I think what is extraordinary here is that we have been able to communicate to them the value of earning a college degree. The 7.7% entails 5.7% increase in degree-seeking undergraduates, 20% for first-time transfer students. We've done a much better job of strengthening the pathway from our local community colleges to SIUE. And so those two gains have been extraordinary. We also made a very conscious decision to enroll a greater number and percentage of pre-collegiate students in dual enrollment in early college. These are high school students who are enrolled in classes at SIUE. And so even before they exit the high school, we want them to have a touch point for the university to help ease the transition to college. What is also remarkable about the percentage on the screen is that this accounts for the expected declines in our international student population. We saw this coming. We've talked about this as a university community. Everybody expected our international enrollment to be down this fall, and it is to the tune of 23%, which is significant. That's significant numerically, that's significant financially, but I also think it is significant with respect to the learning environment of our university community. I have said on a number of occasions, pick a course, political science, engineering, life sciences, to have students from Springfield, from East St. Louis, um, from different places around the world in the classroom solving problems together enriches our educational environment. And so that is one of the consequences of being down with respect to international student enrollment. But this is a remarkable achievement for the university. I want to give a lot of credit to the team. We challenged them and they stepped up. And Dr. Benoit believes that we still have opportunities across lots of communities in the region to continue to grow. The one last thing I'll say about this slide is one of the areas we will focus on is creating stronger pathways for adults in our communities with some college but no degree. Individuals who had a first touch point with the university, but for whatever reason did not complete their degree. If you have a mortgage, 2 children, a full-time job today, how do you return to complete your degree? And so I think we have to create ways to make it a lot more easy for those families to return to college and complete their degree. A big part of our enrollment management strategy is retention. This has been a common refrain at SIUE. Some of our enrollment targets will be met by new students. Some of those goals will be met by retaining a greater number and percentage of students who are already enrolled. A few short years ago, the 2023 cohort, so what we're measuring here is first to second year retention. Students who started in 2023, what number and percentage of them are back for fall 2024? And the same thing with the 2024 cohort, those students would have returned this fall on campus. And we have seen pretty steady upticks in retention. We made the conscious decision here to show you overall retention and domestic retention. It is we're conscious of this dip, but so much of that has to do with the international students who did not return to our campus. And so we selected out domestic students. I want to be very clear, very transparent about why we decided to do this. We're now at 81%, which is pretty remarkable. We have ticked up over the last few years. Our goal as an institution is 90%. As an educational institution, we are pretty troubled by the fact that a young person who starts college a few short weeks ago, for whatever reason, wouldn't be back for their second year of college. We talk about this numerically, but I think when we look at our incoming students, all of those young people expect to be successful. They're enrolling in college. They've completed every requirement to be admitted. And for whatever reason, they're not back for their second year of college. That is something that we as a community want to focus on with the goal to get to 90%. We have also been able to close equity gaps in our data with respect to specific populations. I'll talk more about that later in the presentation. The third element of having such an increase in enrollment is housing and dining and parking and traffic and additional course sections. All are good byproducts of a larger incoming class. Every bed on our campus is filled, which is pretty remarkable. We have worked with our housing team led by Vice Chancellor Miriam Rachia to rent space in a local apartment complex to incentivize our upper class students to move off campus to accommodate incoming students. That's a great problem to have, and I think we've been able to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the residential life aspect for our students. I want to say this, we have worked really hard. SIUE, unlike lots of other institutions, has a legacy of being a commuter campus. So when you talk to alumni who graduated in the 60s and 70s, their experience with the university was driving there to take classes and then driving home. That is no longer the case. More than a third of our undergraduate population living on campus, eating on campus, sleeping on campus. And so we have gone out of our way to try to enhance the co-curricular aspects of our campus community. what you see here on the screen is just video footage taken from fall convocation. This is one of the best things that we do at SIUE is a lot of ceremony and celebration of students who have made the bold choice to attend college at SIUE. And so we want to appropriately celebrate them. You see them there processing. We go find a band to officially begin their college journey at SIUE. These students are from 47 states across the region, 477 high schools. Some of them are from as near as Edwardsville High School. Some of them are from as far away as Alaska, Hawaii, and Mississippi. So it is a really interesting and dynamic class of incoming students, a quarter of whom have arrived with a 4.0 GPA from their high school, which is exciting. So I want to say thank you to the team for convocation. This has evolved. A few short years ago, we weren't sure how to design this, and it has really evolved into something that the community can support to celebrate our new students who are arriving at SIUE. The second thing I want to mention, a year ago, or at a previous board meeting, we featured as a part of One Day, One SIUE, that report, our distinguished community leader was Curtis Francois, the owner of Worldwide Technology Raceway. I mentioned at that meeting that he made the decision to invite our entire first-year class to a NASCAR race. The idea is that they would go as a cohort. Now, our team couldn't accommodate the entire first-year class, but Miriam, I think we had roughly 300 students attend NASCAR together as a cohort, which was pretty exciting. I did not expect to be the person waving the green flag to officially start the race, but that was, if nothing else, I think maybe good visibility for the university. I noted to the judge yesterday that the picture in the top left of the screen, the two other NASCAR officials can be seen in protective gear, including the helmet. And so I get up to this perch and I go, where's my helmet? And they kind of left me on my own. And so the squinting is because I am being pelted by particles that are bouncing up from the track. Really a once in a lifetime experience, but a really good experience. On the bottom left, you see our 3 collegiate race teams. You'll see our solar car team there. It's kind of in the back of the photo. On the left is the Formula team, and on the right is the Baja team. These are students mostly from the School of Engineering who design and build cars that they race competitively against other collegiate teams across the country. So we're really proud of that. And on the right bottom, you see some of the students who are there seated in the stands during the race. Really great event. The idea that we've got a NASCAR racetrack sort of in our backyard. I think the big news here is that the partnership with the racetrack has grown over time, and I expect it to continue to grow. I want to just make a mention about meeting the gold standard. Our office that supports military affiliated families has once again earned the gold tier recognition for 2025-2026 as a military friendly school, placing SIUE among the top 10 institutions nationwide for its commitment to serving military affiliated families. We're serving roughly 900 students who have military affiliations out of this office. It is also a wonderful element of our university community. I have watched them serve military affiliated families with a lot of pride and a lot of success and a commitment to their success. And so we're really proud of being recognized with this gold tier standard as one of the top 10% across the country.
Police departments often ask the public for help with cold cases, hoping someone will come forward with new information. But Illinois State Police have now taken it a step further. They're partnering with college students to help solve decades-old cases. And they say it's working. They teamed up with the criminal justice students from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. The students have not only now helped identify 2 murder victims, but in another case, they say they've helped solve a murder. Joining us now to discuss.
Okay, so we shortened the clip so you all didn't have to suffer the entire interview. And I'm a little fast on the clicker, and some of you are adjusting to this delay on the screen. But let me properly tee this up. Some of you may know about our partnership with the Illinois State Police, and it is twofold. One is that we're now providing college credit for cadets who are interested in earning a college degree at SIUE, separate partnership. Professor Trish Oberweis, who you see on the right of the screen from Criminal Justice Studies, initiated an internship program for undergraduates and graduate students who are in criminal justice studies to work at the Illinois State Police to help solve cold cases or the backlog of cold cases. And so this press release is because the work of the students led to discoveries of both a Jane Doe and charges being filed in a murder case. The only thing that I will tell you, and for me at least the most moving part of this press conference, is the mother of one of the victims who goes to that podium at the press conference and talks about calling the Illinois State Police for 14 straight years every week so that her loved one would not be forgotten. And the idea that our students and that mother had a moment was just moving about the impact of the work and our connection with the community. Very powerful moment. We're very proud of our faculty who are leading this program and the students who are participating in that program. My final slide is about a grant award. You heard Dr. Chris Slayton earlier give you all of the numbers associated with our research productivity. I only want to highlight one grant here. On the screen is Distinguished Research Professor Howard Ramsey, who was probably one of the more beloved faculty members in our community by students. Recently was awarded a $1.6 million grant from the Mellon Foundation. I'll tell you lots about the grant. We can share more information, but what is significant about this grant award, we asked the graduate student in our office to look at the grant portfolio for the Mellon Foundation, to ask the question, how many institutions like SIUE are in their portfolio? And it is very rare that an institution with SIUE's profile would be considered by Mellon for any kind of grant award, and we currently have 2. And so this, beyond the dollar amount of the grant, beyond the work that will happen, is sort of digitizing literature in the humanities to make it more accessible to the public, says a lot about the quality of the work and the national profile. The 2 co-PIs, one is from the University of Indiana, the other from Howard University. This is sort of a feather in the cap for that department and for the university. And with that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Minor. Chancellor Lane for the Carbondale campus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And almost good afternoon, everyone here. I think I have the clicker. I've got a crook in my neck here from having to turn around, and so I guess Dr. Minor put us in this spot today. Thank you. Well, I can't even, my neck is in pain, but yeah. First, before we get to the video, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my employees from SIUC for making the 87-mile drive. And sir, I appreciate your service. You mentioned the Navy. Our folks work hard, and I appreciate every last one of them. They work hard. They're committed. Much of what you see on these slides, and I'll hit the green button here. It's a lot of excitement going on at SIU Carbondale, and the accomplishments that we've been able to achieve is because we've done this together. So each and every one of the folks, I know many of them have left. My True Blood cafeteria person I talk to every morning when we go and eat, I appreciate all their service to the institution. I also want to thank our president and the board. Nick, when we got into CBiz, there was no mandate to do any type of compensation study at all. There was no mandate. We wanted to do that because we wanted to know what people kept telling us is that, hey, I'm not being paid correctly, or I'm being compressed within my salary, and we wanted to do something about that. So I thank the board for approving those CBiz adjustments. We're going to have folks in those adjustments get raises as high as 40 some odd percent. 40 some odd percent of an increase, which I think is magnificent. So I do want to highlight, Nick, you and your work and the work you guys do in HR. And again, I want to thank our folks. And I'm easy to find. You know, you can find me on campus. You can find me in my office. You can find me on the street. I'm always willing to talk to any of our folks that spend their time working for our students. I really appreciate that. The next slide, and let me get into this. I don't think I'm going to give Chancellor Minor. See, I'm trying to use my mirror here and look at the back of the. Come on, man. Come on. Now I can't move now. It's too late. I'm out. I'm going to be out of time. So let me. I think Chancellor Minor. You know, these are tough jobs, especially when you talk about trying to increase enrollment. Look around the country. You know, 2 years ago, President Mahoney came over to our campus and we were talking about the enrollment cliff. I think many people forgot about that. We're still hitting record number enrollments, and congratulations to you and your team. You know how hard that is to move that needle and how much work that takes. You didn't give yourself enough praise and justice. I know you tried to with your team, but I'm going to congratulate you and your team for doing an outstanding job for moving that needle. That is hard to do. It is not an easy thing to not only recruit students, but then to retain those students. We're very excited. You know, someone was asking me the other day about some of our highlights, and it blows me away that we're able to do some of these things. 3% growth in graduate students. We've got a lot of folks that work there. Dr. Satsoulis is, I don't know if he's here or not, but he and his staff do an amazing job in that area. It's an increase in our master's students and our doctoral students. That is very helpful. 23% increase in online enrollment. There's a market out there, Dr. Barnett, right? We talked about that earlier, that adult student population that we're going to continue to go after. Dr. Tucker and her staff are doing an amazing job there to keep that needle moving. Jerry, look at that. Dr. Cruz, 25% increase in School of Medicine. You guys are doing a great job in that area. Our law school growth, a 3% increase in Kentucky and Missouri and Indiana, our bordering states. You know, years ago, those states would try and recruit our students out of the state. We're making it a lot harder for them to do that. And so that number is working. The number I'm most proud of is a 6% growth for students in Southern Illinois. You know, we talk about red carpeting the region and making sure that we keep our students at home, show them the benefit of the university in their own backyard, and we are being very successful at doing that. So I'm really, really excited and pleased about that. On the other side, our increase in our continuing students. So when we start looking at our retention of students and how our students continue to move on their academic journey, that is working. Our students are staying here. I want to move to the next slide and really highlight some of the demographic increases. Our highest increase came among our Hispanic Latinx students, 10%, and you can read all of these percentages. The next category gets into Southern Illinois in terms of what we look like there. When we go out and talk to all of our superintendents and our principals, that makes a lot of difference in terms of what we do to attract those students, but then how do we retain those students? Some of the retention highlights, and again, the provost, a number of us on our campus have been focused on creating this campus retention model. And we're seeing some success already without that model even being fully implemented. You look at the populations that have increased there in terms of their retention. So that's a piece. It's not enough just to recruit students, but you have to retain them as well and make sure they're supported. And again, I know we have several of our retention and recruitment specialists, Dr. Tucker, our advisors. A lot of our folks on our campus work very hard to do that. I do want to acknowledge them for their work there. Our next slide, this is really about making sure we take care of homes. So you're going to see folks in here. These are all of the Southern Illinois principals, superintendents, counselors, all the folks that helped us. This was a thank you breakfast for them. We do this every year just to acknowledge their support and their partnership with the university. Just goes such a long way. And so we celebrate that. We're also celebrating on October 1st. For our enrollment. We'll do that in a barbecue on campus for all of our employees to participate. And then we had our big thank you meeting for all of our enrollment management, bursar, accounting, all of our staff. We personally had a nice luncheon for them a couple of days. God, when was that? When was that? Was that last week or this week? So you guys are just as bad as me. You have no idea. Yeah, we just had it a couple of days ago. We can't remember what day it was. But a great group just to tell them thank you. That's very important that they know and hear that. We've had some really interesting moments here. This is an unveiling of something very special, the Charlotte Thompson Suler School of Journalism and Advertising. And if you got a chance to talk with her, she is something special. Her journey, her story, her commitment to Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, just amazing, amazing. Dr. Mahoney was there and gave some words and opened up the event. And we had a really unique time in that structure, didn't we, Dr. Mahoney? It was like an L shape or V. So we made a little bit of joke about our communication renovations. They're going to be coming along soon. But it was a great event. Had a really nice time meeting her friends as well that she brought into the ceremony. But this is a big deal when you're able to name one of your schools. And so for her commitment, her generous donation, and her legacy that will continue on in that school is something special. I think she was a homecoming queen. She told us a little bit about that. And again, her journey is very interesting. If you get a chance to look that up, I think you'll be excited. Our students really enjoyed this event. We also had another, what I consider to be a superstar come in. And Judge Gilbert, I tried to get your picture in this presentation. Just didn't quite, Paula says, hey, come on, you got to get we tried to get it in, but we'll put it on social media. Bob Odenkirk, this is the second time he's been in since we gave him the honorary degree, and he's so personable. One of his movies just came out, but he comes back to campus and talks. Let me hit the play button and make sure I don't mess this up so we can hear a little bit.
I mean, my favorite thing about coming to this is my second time coming to SIU, is the teaching part. I just did an acting class, and Bill and I spoke to students in numerous configurations, and it's just the best. I mean, and it does have that reward that being a parent has. You're older and you're trying to share something that will hopefully help the younger people see their way forward or understand things a little better than they did before you started talking. How about you, Bill?
Well, I enjoy it because they listen, unlike my kids. But no, I'm just echoing what Bob says. The students are really sharp, attentive, had great questions, and you can tell they're passionate about finding something for themselves, in whether it's entertainment or something else. But they were really great to work with. So.
All right, great. Yeah, it's always good to have Bob. The individual that was speaking, if you remember the show Futurama, he's one of the writers on that. If anybody is I see a few heads shaking out there. So it was really good to have those Hollywood folks there. Our Saluki Takeover tours are in full effect. Last week we were in about a week and a half ago in Indianapolis. Saluki's all over Indianapolis. It was so good. Here's some of the footage from some of those folks that showed up. Packed house, with a lot of memories being shared in those rooms. A lot of visits. You know, we're at Ivy Tech, we're at Ben Davis High School, a couple other high schools in the area recruiting those students. You remember the information I showed you about the bordering states. We think Indiana is a state that we definitely need to be in and recruit more Salukis to come out of the Hoosier state, so we're going to do that. Next week, we'll be in D.C. This will be a very special time for us there to really connect in with not only some of the staffers that are up there. I know Dr. Mahoney, John Charles, they do a great job in setting those meetings up, and we get to really get there and have an up close and personal discussion with those individuals that support the institution from Washington. And so really full event for us. And you'll see the dates that are listed as well in some of the other events. So really excited about that. The final piece here, and I don't want to put him too much on the spot, but Dr. Cruz, and I want to, this may be a news to many of you that are here, but Dr. Cruz, after 42 years, that's a long time, Jerry. 42 years of dedicated service to SIU. That is very commendable. He has decided to retire in August 2026. But I want to read you a little bit of information here. In August 2026, Dr. Cruz will have given 43 years. I shortchanged you. So sirs wouldn't like, yeah, I shortchanged you there. 43 years of service to Southern Illinois University. He has informed me that he intends to retire at that time. A little bit about his legacy. His leadership has shaped generations of physicians, strengthened communities, and advanced SIU School of Medicine as a nationally respected institution. Over 10 years as Dean and Provost CEO, Dr. Cruz has guided the School of Medicine through a period of rapid change and growth. Navigating the pandemic, you heard that earlier today from our chairman, workforce shortages and healthcare challenges while ensuring SIU's mission stayed strong. I experienced that firsthand, Jerry, when I got here in July of 2020. I mean, you were the guiding ship for us. I appreciate that. His leadership has left an indelible mark, and he is committed to finishing strong so that we can build on the foundation he created, even as we begin search for his successor. And I want to thank Rakisha. I don't know if it was Rakisha. Is she here? Oh, I can't see her through the podium. Thank you, Rakisha. We're going to rely heavily on Rakisha. But Jerry, I can't thank you enough, man. You've done an outstanding job over there. You're always fired up. You know, you're always ready to give that great advice, and you love basketball. I didn't realize that about you until I came to your office and saw that paraphernalia and stuff that you have in there. You're a lover of basketball like me, and man, we really appreciate you. And it's not over. You still got several months to go, right? You still got to give us that time. But if you guys could join me in just congratulating Dr. Cruz. Appreciate it. Let me say, I know that, again, as we get closer to his retirement, Dr. Mahoney and Chairman, our judge, and then the rest of the board, I know they're going to do some more things for you. This was just a way to announce it and to thank you. So that concludes my report, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Chancellor Lane. Now, the man of the hour, Dean Cruz.
Well, Chancellor Lane, thank you so much for those words. It is an honor to do what I do. And in 42 years, I've seen the SIU system and the SIU School of Medicine from every angle, as a matter of fact. And it's an honor and a pleasure to work with all of you and to be your colleagues. And as you said, you know, there is more work to do. This decision was not easy, I will tell you. It was a hard one and comes with a lot of emotions for sure. But anyway, but there is more work to do, and we'll do it together. So that's great. Okay, let's see. I've got to get to my slides here. Oh, that one. Okay, there we go. All right. So for my presentation today, I've got two topics, women in leadership positions at the School of Medicine, and the second one is student loan programs from the perspective of what's happened with the recent federal legislation. Women in leadership, 18 months ago, I gave you a presentation about the leadership positions that the women filled in the School of Medicine, but just in the past 2 months, we have had a bevy of awards and recognitions nationally that I'd like to tell you about. So AMWA, American Women's Medical Association, is one of the two major groups in the United States that for women in medicine, and they give Aspire Awards. Our faculty members were they were good enough to get 6 of the 52 national awards. This Aspire Award recognizes women who inspire others through compassionate patient care, mentorship, and community service by embodying vision, integrity, collaboration, and service. So 3 are on this slide. All of these are from our federally qualified health centers, the Centers for Family Medicine. First one, Mary Dobbins is our Director of Integrated Care. She's not a family physician. She's a board-certified pediatrician, board-certified psychiatrist, and board-certified child psychiatrist who helps coordinate the care for our patients with the most complicated problem. The next two on this slide are from our Center for Family Medicine in Carbondale. And Deidre McLean is the medical director of the Physician Assistant Program, and Pam Hunter-Reach is the Chief Medical Officer, the medical director for that Center for Family Medicine. On the next slide are the next 3 winners of that award. Dana Crosby is our chair of ENT. She's one of the youngest chairs of a major department in the United States, obviously does a great job. The other 2 winners of this award, Gio Capriolo, takes care of the sickest children in Central Illinois as a pediatric critical care doctor, pediatric ICU. And Mito Duong is chief of pediatric emergency medicine for us and cares for those children with acute injuries and other medical emergencies. So they have done a really great job. Now, I think all of you have heard me talk about the LCME, the Liaison Commission on Medical Education. That's the accrediting body for medical schools. You might remember last time that I announced that the School of Medicine got 6 full years of accreditation. It was quite an arduous process, but after that occurred, they were so impressed with Dr. Deborah Clayman, our Senior Associate Dean for Education and Curriculum, that they appointed her to the LCME Medical Education Senior Leaders Advisory Group. So some influence there that will be good. Now, the other thing I'll mention is that since the United States Medical Licensing Exam Part 1 for our students went to a pass-fail system, they have become much more interested in being involved in societies and adding that to their resume. So there are 2 of them that are the major ones, the Gold Humanism Honor Society and Alpha Omega Alpha. So Gold Humanism Honor Society has great standards for academic achievement, but actually puts more emphasis on professionalism and humanism. So that's a great society. Dr. Sue Hingle has been named to the advisory council for the Gold Humanism Honor Society. And this is one of our medical students, Anjali Patel, for Alpha Omega Alpha, which is the group that has great professionalism standards, but puts more emphasis on academic achievement. She actually has received a 2025 Carolyn Kukine Student Research Fellowship. So she'll get paid for her research. Of the 156 medical schools in the United States, only 70 students get this award. Preserving cytotoxic function of human natural killer cells by selective inhibition of transforming growth factor beta. Human natural killer cells do not kill humans, as a matter of fact. So they're part of our innate immune system that actually eliminates tumor cells and eliminates viral infection cells by orchestrating an antibody response. So they're the field generals, and that's what she's studying. And then Sujata Pandey was awarded a Graduate Women in Science National Fellowship Award. Only 9 of these are given nationwide, and she got one of them, and she's a 5th-year PhD student in pharmacology and neuroscience, and works with Brandon Cox on some of the great ear research that we do at the SIU School of Medicine. So also, this is the last one about women in leadership. Cassie Matson is our Director of Alumni Relations. Nicole Edmiston is the event manager for Cassie Matson. Together, they pioneered a concept of destination class reunions, which they've been doing now for over a year. It's been a rousing success with an increase in alumni satisfaction and giving. Matt, you'll like that one, I think, as a matter of fact. They have been invited to present what they do to the Johns Hopkins Medicine Alumni Association, and the two of them have also been invited to be featured speakers at the annual Association of American Medical Colleges Conference on Institutional Advancement. So that's some more creativity. Now, the last topic is student loans. Graduate Plus loans are for graduates. So PhD graduate students, master's students, law students, medical students. I'm focusing on our medical students today. They have become a mainstay in what our students need. In the new OBBBA, the big bill, Graduate Plus loans will be eliminated on July 1st, 2026. Those who have them now will be grandfathered in, but their upper limits will be only about 2/3 of what they were on the borrowing before. So I'm going to give you some facts now. The 4-year cost, the cost to educate one medical student with data from the Department of Defense and from the Association of American Medical Colleges is $1 to $1.3 million. That's the cost to educate the student. Students' 4-year cost to degree at the SIU School of Medicine is precisely and exactly $308,394. This is the number that was used to give the absolute maximum on their loans before. The absolute maximum was $308,900. It now is $200,000 for those students who have it, and will be zero for the students who enroll July 1st, 2026 or after. Number of SIU medical students who have Graduate Plus loans, 66%. Actually, it's 80% of our graduates by the time that they get there. And total debt load of year 4 SIU medical students, median debt, $283,209. The Graduate Plus loans have been indispensable to our students. 7% of medical students in the United States come from families in the lowest income quartile, 25th percentile or lower, only 7%. This is going to make that worse. Effect, our medical students will have more financial uncertainty and stress. Our medical students will have more financial pressure to choose higher paying specialties. Over the years, we will have fewer medical students from low income and working class families, from areas of educational disadvantage, from marginalized populations, and from rural areas. Me, myself, being from that 7%, I don't like it. But we're doing everything we can to look at getting more commercial loans, to work with the state of Illinois for Graduate Plus type loans, and to do more things for scholarships for our students through the foundation and development. That's kind of a hard one. Anyway, it's a tough problem, and we're going to do everything we can for our students. Anyway, Austin, thanks again for your comments, and I appreciate working with everyone. It's a great organization. I love the mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Cruz. President Mahoney, your report for the system.
Yeah, I'd like to call up Vice President Caldwell. She will start by presenting some of the things we're doing in her area, which are pretty exciting.
Still morning, so good morning, everyone. I also have 2 topics I would like to discuss today. And the first is the Illinois Higher Education Equity Symposium. If you look at the flyer, we have featured presentations, and we also have featured presentations by Excellencia in Education, Hope Chicago, Nash. And what I want you to know about this particular symposium is our 4th annual symposium. And I'm not sure, but some of you all may be aware, for the past 30 years, women have been exceeding men in higher education across all racial ethnic groups. If you look at 1995, for example, 29% of white women and 29% of white men were earning degrees equally. Today, it's 52% white women, 42% white men. If we look at African Americans, it's 38% to 22%. If we look at Latinos today, it is 22% versus 31%, so that's a 9% gap. And the group that's the most balanced, that has the most equity, is the Asian population, which is 71% men and 77% women. If we look across our SIU campuses, we actually have more balance, but it's 53% at Edwardsville for women compared to 47% for men. And I think at Carbondale, it's 52%, 48%. So we still have some gaps, and that's been a national trend and it's growing. So I'm excited that we're gonna have some very robust data presented at this conference to talk about what we can do to balance gender equity. I consider that to be, again, an imbalance, and it's been happening. And when we look at just the mental health of men along with other issues, we're gonna really try to rectify that situation. So I'm inviting you to come to this event. We're gonna have some excellent national speakers who will share their expertise. It will be in it will be in actually Springfield, Illinois. We travel with this. We were in Springfield, Edwardsville, as well as Carbondale, and now we're back in Springfield. It's October 9th through 10th at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. But it's gonna be excellent data, and we have a lot of stakeholders from across Illinois who attend this event. I think it's important to know that every year we have 95 to about 95% of our public universities coming, along with about 25 community organizations, and even addition to our president's panel, we'll also have legislators who will attend as well. So please try to make it to that event. That's very important. And if we could queue up the next. Okay. So the next topic that I would like to bring to you, I think I discussed this at the inception of this particular grant about maybe 18 months ago, but we are finalizing the Lumina Foundation grant. And one of the things I want to start out by saying about this particular grant, I was directly told that part of us getting this grant was because of our leadership, because of President Mahoney, because of the chancellors, because of our public commitment to anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They made that very clear. We believe and we have confidence in your leadership, and they're doing things that other people are not doing nationally. We were directly told that. And we made our case for this particular grant. We said we want to improve our academic performance, we want to improve DFW rates, we want to improve retention. We've actually seen through both of the presentations from both of our chancellors that we've made significant strides in our retention. And we said we can't do this alone. We're going to need partnerships. We're going to need to connect with people who have this expertise. So we've been able to partner with near peer, with the American Colleges and University Educators, as well as Circle N. And I'm going to share about some of that very positive and meaningful work that has been accomplished over the past 2 years. Okay. So with the American Colleges and University Educators, we thought it was very important, as we think about the changing demographics, to really equip our faculty. They obviously have the expertise in their fields of study, they have the knowledge, they're highly intelligent, but we have these changing demographics, and how can we equip you to learn more about inclusive and effective teaching practices, how to foster belonging in the classroom. So we started out with SIUE, and we expanded that, and we scaled it across the system. And we have a total of 265 participants who completed. In the moment, I'm going to show you some positive data from that. But the data was so positive. As I mentioned, this grant is about to expire. And President Mahoney looked at the data, and we decided, you know, we're going to renew this contract. We are going to now pay for our professors to continue this work, because they were taking modules, and again, the gains were significant. And we said, if we extend this contract, we will have 125 faculty members who are now fully certified with effective teaching practices. And that will allow us to actually do more broad studies and see the faculty members who are being the most effective, and we'll be able to share that data across the system. So this is what faculty had to say about their experiences with AQ. 94% will recommend the course to peers. 98% found the modules helpful in refining teaching practices. And when we talk about teaching practices, they were learning things like how to build effective rubrics, how to issue timely feedback to your students, how to solicit timely feedback from your students to improve the course, how to start strong from day one with fostering inclusion and belonging in your classroom, among others. Our faculty members reported through the modules over 8,000 more teaching practices. And that is very common with this particular module. And then the other data point that I really want to highlight is that 86% reported more positive beliefs about inclusive teaching and students. This number was 36% before they started this module. We had a 50% gain. And that's significant because we're asking faculty to do different things. And if they don't necessarily have the confidence and the skill set to do that, then it makes it impossible. So to have faculty self-report that 86% from 36% improved their confidence and had more positive beliefs about inclusive teachings, we thought that was the most significant gain, and we want to continue that work. Another partnership was Near Peer. And that particular platform, if we go back and we look at the grant, we specifically said we're going to foster and curate student belonging. And when I looked out and we had made that commitment, it was not a lot of organizations that were committed to student belonging. And Near Peer, they're able to show that when they connect students, they decrease loneliness and they improve retention rates because students are connecting, they're joining organizations, and they're also meeting with other students. So just this particular semester, we had close to 1,800 students from Carbondale and Edwardsville participate, an average of 8 peer connections per student, and 22,000 messages with those particular students. So again, positive gains. I think we should have a video. Okay.
Hello, my name is Camden Penrod and I'm from Bowling Green, Missouri. I am currently attending Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. I'm expected to graduate in 2027 and I study biomedical science. So I just started at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale this week, and I am a transfer student coming in as a junior, and I'm actually from out of state. I'm from Missouri, just the next state over, but this was a completely new area to me. I didn't know the people, the things, I didn't know anything. So I wasn't really sure what to expect from Near Peer. I was hoping to make some sort of connections or to just talk to people about being in a new area and a new school. And that did happen. I met one friend in particular. We Snapchat or message on Instagram on the daily. We hang out daily. We've been going to the store together, hanging out between breaks, just doing the little things together, and it really has helped a lot. And that would not have happened without Near Peer. So I am genuinely really, really grateful that I had that app to where I could connect with people. The person that I did connect with, it is a good relationship, and I'm very thankful. It's something to value for sure.
And so this particular student talks about that one relationship. In the previous video, we have a student who talked about multiple relationships that she was able to connect with, including orientation, and how that just really increased her confidence. So the more that we can invite not just new students, but transfer students to participate in this process, because it's also designed for them, it connects them to relationships before they come on campus. And I'm going to give you another case study. Xavier University, the HBCU in New Orleans, they actually also engaged with this platform, and they had their largest class of Black men ever. They increased by 56% just by engaging students before they came to campus. And so this is another relationship that we want to continue. And I'm excited to say they are coming to our symposium, and when they saw the agenda, they said, "Do you mind if we stay the entire few days?" I'm like, "You're more than welcome to do that." And so they're inviting more team members because they want to learn more about the great work that SIU is doing, and also contribute to that work. So again, this has also been a positive relationship. And the last thing I want to say about this, when it comes to student belonging and engagement, this topic is not studied well, and I'm very pleased to say that SIU, Carbondale, and Edwardsville are partnering to do a research study, and that's under the leadership of Dr. Gupshup. So we're very pleased to see what those results will be as well. And then this is the last initiative I want to speak to is SIU East Circling Impact. A couple of things I want to point out is that we had about 18% of eligible students who were able to participate, over 500,000 study actions as far as helping students improve academic progress and success. And this is the key right here, a 6% annual pass rate in key math courses. If you look nationally, it's 1% or less than 1%. So we're able to say, we wanted to improve our DFW rates, we wanted to improve our retention rates, and we have quantitative data showing that we did that. If we use near peer, we have qualitative data showing how our students are engaging with these platforms. So the goal was to improve retention rates. When we look, again, I'm not going to rehash what we just heard the chancellors do so eloquently, but we have improved retention rates for these particular populations. And I want to point out that oftentimes when we talk about DEI, we don't include always the white students, but we have data showing that we also advance student success for our white and rural students as well. If we look at Lumina, they were looking at traditional student groups who had not advanced, but we're able to say these are all the groups that we've seen improve retention rates. And I want to say I'm so proud of the campuses, the ADEI leaders, the staff members, and the work that we're doing, because I'm going to use this data to ask them for more money. So that is the plan. And I already have talked to them, like, we have very sound data. We've been good stewards of these funds, and we would like to get more funds to advance student success across our campuses. These are some of the conferences that we were able to sponsor as a result of this funding. We had 4 staff members from SIUE attend Malkady Fab Innovations and Redesign in Texas. We had about 18 members go to the NATITY conference in Chicago. We had faculty members go to the National Organization of Student Success Conference to talk about student success across disciplines. And then the AABHE conference, Leadership and Student Success, President Mahoney and I were able to attend that. And then Dr. Harris is also on their board. So I'm just gonna close out with saying that this just, again, solidifies our investment in student success. We've been on that particular hill, and we are able to show demonstrated success using evidence-based practices. And again, our goal is to, in addition to student success, make sure that students, that they come here, that they're proud to be alumni, that they come, they give back. And as we see that they send, their children here and their friends, because if they have a inclusive, dignified, and empowerment experience, then they're going to continue to support SIU, and we're going to continue to support them. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Calder.
And before I leave, are there any questions for me? Thank you, Judge.
I have a question.
Don't-
How is near peer access? Is it an app? How is it accessed?
Yes, I'm glad. So what Near Peer has done is that they've engaged with our vice presidents of student success and their team members. And so what we do is, in orientations and different new student events, we introduce the app. It's similar to if you were thinking of a Facebook more so than an Instagram platform. They ask students about their interests. They put in their, their year, what their goals are, and it gives students opportunities to connect to other students who have their common interests. So it's more of an interest platform. And I'm glad you asked that question, because one of the next steps that we would like to take with Near Peer is looking at what our students have in common. We found that in Carbondale, for example, I think number 5 on the list was hiking. And they asked, do you all have a hiking club? You have a lot of students interested in hiking. We have a lot of students, we found that some of our male students are interested in fashion. A lot of our students love Grey's Anatomy, Grey's Anatomy. So they're asking us, like, how are you leveraging this data to engage students on a deeper level? You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, and first of all, I want to thank Dr. Caldwell for her presentation. It's nice when we can kind of use what we've done and see the data that's actually showing its effectiveness across all of our students. And I think that's critical when we talk about DEI. It's not one group of students. It's really focused on improving student success for everybody. And I also obviously want to thank Lumina for their support of this. It really helped us get a lot of these initiatives started. It would have been much more difficult without their financial support. And as Dr. Caldwell mentioned, we hope they continue to support this financially as we go forward, because we think we are an ideal place to implement a lot of these things, which become best practices across the country when they're effective here. The next slide, I think there's one slide there at the end. Yeah. So this was last week, we did our legislative tour. Just a reminder, this is something we've started to do a few years ago, and we bring a lot of the legislative support staff to our campuses. We start in the School of Medicine here in Springfield, then we go to Edwardsville, and then to Carbondale. But it really is a great opportunity for us to let them see what the things we're doing, kind of inform them about some of the stuff, particularly things that are even having state support, or we've talked a little bit about some of the federal challenges. We share that with them. But it's also relationship building for us. And so this is something John Charles came up with this idea a few years ago. You know, I was a president in South Carolina for 5 years. I could not name one single legislative staff person for anybody. I knew the legislators well. I did not know their staff. Anybody who's worked with legislators and staff know that the people who are actually doing a good portion of the work are the staff, and connecting well with them is really critically important. And again, a lot of them we're now know very well, and they actually come to us a lot more often, whether it's on the funding formula, the community college bachelor's bill, or many of the other things. We've now have that connection, and that's been really helpful. I will apologize. I had to leave Edwardsville's a little bit early because I was going to the Charlotte Thompson Suler naming ceremony, which was a lot of fun to attend. And she is a wonderful woman, and we're so proud to have her name connected with our university. It was nice watching a lot of the events you talked about. I really got a chance to go to most of those this year. Convocation, I always tell people, I've been to Convocation a lot of places at different institutions. We struggled with it at most places to get it to actually work right. I got to Winthrop and I thought, this is pretty good. And then I got to SIUE and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what you want, exactly the type of atmosphere, exactly the right length, not too long. It does everything that you really want it to do. So again, I always want to compliment them on that. It was nice again seeing Bob Odenkirk. I will tell you, it was funny when we were giving him his honorary degree a few years ago. I often joke my children call me at exactly the wrong time every single time. So as we're about to walk out on stage, my son calls me and he says, can you talk? I was like, I'm about to walk on stage with Bob Odenkirk. I can't really talk right now. He goes, well, that's pretty cool. And then this time my daughter called me. It's just as we're about to sit down for dinner with Bob. And she goes, can I tell my friends? I was like, absolutely, you can tell your friends. So Bob is very popular in my family, as he is in many others. And he's always delightful when he visits, and very gracious with his time with those students, which we appreciate. I did want to say a couple other things. Just the award winners, again, congratulations to all of them for their awards. I've gotten to know many of them in different ways. Ken Anderson, we work a lot on advanced energy, and some of the stuff he's doing there is really, truly remarkable. And the collaboration awards, both in research and teaching. Shameless plug, the teaching award winners are on my podcast coming up that will release shortly. You talked about learning things through the AQ process, and I'd like to participate in it at some point, but I've kind of let the other faculty do it first. But in the podcast we did with Dr. Rook and Dr. Kapoor, Dr. Rook shared an idea with me that I had never tried before, and I'm now utilizing in my class, and it has worked wonderfully. So even after 30 plus years of teaching, I am learning new things that I can take back into my classroom. So we're never stop learning as teachers. But then again, really congratulations to all of them. Congratulations again on the enrollment that we've highlighted earlier. Again, one of the things that the chancellors didn't point out is we lost a little over 300 international students. So when we're looking at those numbers, if we had not had that reduction in international students, that would be even more impressive. For us, it's roughly in the 15% range across the system, but that's pretty typical of what was seen across the United States. So we weren't much better, we weren't much worse, but definitely took those numbers down. Again, when congratulate Dean Cruz on his retirement and thank him for his support, and I'm sure we'll continue to rely on it. One of the jokes people often tell with me is I started in March of 2020, and that could not be a worse time to start a job. I always say it was actually the best time to start a job. I had no school of medicine in my previous institution. It would have been a lot harder to manage through it if I didn't have Jerry Cruz that I could talk to all of the time. And really many of his people, we put together a fall 2020 how do we come back group, and he recommended Vidya Prakash to be part of the group. And most of our conversations was, Vidya, can we do this? And if she said no, we didn't do it. And if she said yes, we did it. And that really became a lot of the model. And we had the lowest infection rates in the state because of Jerry, because of Vidya, and because of really all the people in the School of Medicine on that. But really, they have been involved in so many things, and the respect that School of Medicine has across the state is pretty remarkable. And it really comes from outstanding leadership. So again, thank you so much. And we'll look forward to working with you for another year. So that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of President Mahoney? I will say that I attended that dinner with Bob Odenkirk, and Chancellor Lane asked him a question that the answer blew me away when Chancellor Lane asked him, did your time in Carbondale, anything in Carbondale, your classes ever impact you I mean, did it affect how to do with your career? Basically, he said Carbondale launched his career. He had a radio show, did he, during the time that he was there at Carbondale, and he talked about some of the classes he took and I think that's one of the reasons he loves SIU and Carbondale, because it did have a tremendous impact on his career. So I hope he comes back, Central Lane. Okay, our next item is the call for the omnibus motion. The trustees have had approximately 10 days to study the items on the agenda. A certain number are routine or self-explanatory, and as to save time, we act upon them in one motion. Madam Secretary, will you please read the items suggested for the omnibus motion?
The omnibus motion. F through U.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion to approve the items for the omnibus motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're now going to ask for a roll call vote. Madam Secretary.
Abuzena,
Aye.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
I declare that the motion to approve the omnibus motion has passed. This concludes the business meeting of the Board of Trustees today. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the board will be held December 4th of this year at SIU Carbondale. A news conference would be held immediately following the board meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn the full board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abuzena,
Aye. Aye.
Barnett,
Yes.
Connolly,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Salger,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
The motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned.
You know.